Welcome back to another episode of the Experts in Fire podcast. I'm your host, Mike Vennard, and with me today is Randy Mowry. Today's episode is what to consider before purchasing an outdoor grill island. Let's get into it. Hey Randy, how you doing today, brother?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic, Mike. How's it going over there today?
It's pretty awesome. Still beautiful outside. Been able to open the windows in the evening hours.
Oh, it's been so nice.
Yeah, pure Michigan, baby. Pure Michigan. But hey, man, we're here because we're going to talk about grill islands and more importantly, you know, what to consider before purchasing an outdoor grill island. I'm going to be putting one out here on the patio, so super stoked about that. But there are considerations that folks should be walking through. But it's like any project, right? When I started this patio project, all of a sudden I go, how do I educate myself? What do I do? I need to be thinking about things beforehand. So I feel there's no one greater to be talking to than you, Mr. Randy Mowry, because you've done a ton. I even, before we started recording this, I said, hey, brother, I might call you this weekend. So let's do it, man. Let's talk about islands.
It's a great lead-in for this topic because it really kind of like piggybacks off what you're doing and kind of doing your own thing and designing your own backyard and being very involved with it. And as far as barbecue grill islands, there's custom built, Mike, and then you have your stock options or your turnkey style options. We'll touch on custom first since we kind of been talking about doing your own home projects. The cool thing about custom is it's customizable to whatever a client wants. Size, shape, so really it's open-ended. So depending on, you know, what you're doing with your patio, you can basically build or have that thing built to any of those sizes or shapes. I mean, S shape, U shape. It's just really unlimited, rounded, you know, squared off. So you know, that's the nice thing about customized. What we'll run through briefly with all of these is we'll just do like custom stock, you know, the appliances, the layout, location, and stuff like that. We'll kind of go through a bit of a list. But that is the nice thing about custom, Mike.
Yeah, I love the thought. So, you know, in my own experience here, I have pre-made island, and you know, we can talk about those as well. They're customizable. But I do want to, as I'm sitting here listening to you talk, I do like to DIY stuff. But please, if you're listening, if you're out there going, hey, I'm looking at this, I have a lot of input coming from pros. If you don't, take caution. Make sure you use a pro where a pro is needed, like the gas lines that were run, the electrical that gets run, those types of things. So I want to make sure I put that out there for our pros who are listening as well. You guys are valuable.
Yeah, custom. And when we talk about custom, like, you know, we talked about the sizing and the sizing, the shape. Like if you want counter height where your grill is, then all of a sudden it steps up to a bar height rounded so that you can have bar stools type of thing. So you're customizing it. But I want to stress that it's going to be a ready to finish customization. And what I mean by that is it's going to be, you know, metal stud, hardy board that's like glued and screwed to the structure and then shipped out. And then you're going to choose your finishes. So basically you're kind of customizing your whole thing. You're going to choose your finishes that you're going to put on it, or your landscape contact or your stonework guy or whoever's going to do that. So that's kind of what we're talking about when we're talking about custom versus something that's stock that is pre-built at a factory. It's going to have maybe, you know, X amount of colors for the countertop material and colors, X amount of colors and style of material for the vertical sides of it, Mike.
Gotcha. Yep, that's perfect. So some people might be sitting there thinking right now, why do I need to customize the size? What is it that I need to consider there? And, you know, we have on our list here because of appliances, and that's the second thing we wanted to talk about. Appliances play a big part in what you can fit into a particular island, right?
Absolutely. So when it comes to customization, it's open-ended. You're going to have, let's just say that it's a 10-foot island, and we're just going to use straight custom, and you want to maximize all of it for storage and surface space, you know, for your prep work, things like that. You're going to be able to do that. You're going to, okay, I want an ice maker on this end. I want a refrigerator on this end. I'm going to put my grill 2 feet off of the end of the ice maker. So that's exactly what you're doing, is you're customizing the island for your appliances that you're thinking that you're you're going to need to fulfill your design on the property itself. Where when you have a stock turnkey style grill island, you're going to be subject to what that manufacturer offers in the locations that they already have allocated for the products itself and the products for that manufacturer. So, that those are real big differences there, because you may only have the option of a couple appliances for an island, where in theory, maybe something a little bit bigger, you can add 2 or 3 extra appliances to an island. So it's a pretty significant difference. It's definitely a good point to bring up about the appliances.
When you have a wide open space, like for me, I'm putting in a 30 by 30 patio here, wide open space. The biggest thing we debated on was what corner do we want to put the island on, right? I mean, that was the discussion. I had access to gas and electrical that allowed me to think that way, right? So it's always, we talk about, oh, hey, you're looking for a grill island? Awesome. Tell me about the project. Project is X. Wide open space, we have lots of options. Closed in space, or man, I can only put it on this side of my patio or whatever I'm trying to put this on, whatever structure I'm trying to put this on, that's going to limit some of the decisions we're able to make. So the next one we're going to go to is layout, how we want to lay this thing out. But I want to make sure that our listeners understand we have a kind of an order that we follow here, and maybe not everyone you talk to, Randy and I have been doing this for a long time, here at Woodland would give you the same order, but for us, this is what we walk through. Are you looking at a stock island, and where are you trying to put it? Can you get gas to it? Can you get electric to it? Those, right? Or, hey, I only have this space, or I have this large space. I want something that I can fit out there. Excellent. We can help you with that. But first, tell me, what do you want in it?
Exactly. Because not everybody is going to have water capabilities. And you don't have to have sinks in the islands. And that's what's nice about, there are stock options that don't have sinks, and then the customization as well. There's definitely a lot of things to consider when you are talking about grill islands. And of course, if it's a brand new project, meaning just a fresh product like you're doing, for example, on the front end where you can, you have your electrician coming out and you have your plumber coming out to plumb, then that kind of leads us into like the next 2 categories really kind of roll together a bit, which is the layout and location of the island, and whether it's custom or stock. Obviously, if it's custom, then your layout is going to be based off the footprint of where you plan on putting your electrical and your water, and then the stock itself, maybe you have a smaller space, because we do some, ranch style condos that maybe have just a deck or poured concrete patio. So they're limited in what sizing they can use. So there is definitely something for somebody in each application. You don't have to customize, you don't have to do stock, but we do have both. But location is very important on what your needs are going to be. Not only that, but also the appliances.
Well, I think we're rolling right into it, Randy. Layout is important. Once you know the difference between a custom build versus a stock build. Okay, what are you trying to fit into this thing? What type of appliances? Great. Now let's talk about the layout. Where is this going? Is it up against a building? There are rules to putting a grill up against the house. So when it comes to layout, Randy, what can folks be thinking about? And really, when we say layout, we're talking about how we're going to lay out the island. But I want to tie number 3 and number 4 together. You got layout and you got location. Because location and layout, they always combine. You're always going to be looking at how, where's the grill going to be? You have fire-related questions, and we have answers. You can email us your questions at podcast@woodlanddirect.com or give us a call at 586-221-3638. We would love to be able to answer them right here on the Experts in Fire podcast.
The proximity to your house and other things that are going on with the patio itself always helps. How far away from the house are you going to be? This comes down to some appliance choices as well, as far as side burners and things like that. As far as where you're going to be to the house, how close are you going to be to door walls, or is it completely detached and at the backside, 30 feet from the house, things like that. As far as the layout goes, somebody may want their grill right on the very end because that's where the gas is going to come in. So they're not running an 8-foot gas line with inside of the body of the island itself. That's part of like something that may be pre-existing or on the front end, stock versus custom. So those are the kind of things like you were talking about they're important as far as the layout part of it. And then location kind of boils down to some of the safety stuff. Are there trees overhead? Like the house, is your grill going to be to the house? Or when it comes to barbecue grills, everything that you cook on a grill and it's open, you still have like the heat. You may have just like the oils, the juices and things like that rising. Think of like a commercial kitchen where they have big commercial kitchen fans over there because of the stuff that's coming off of the food that's being cooked. That still happens with a barbecue grill. If you're if somebody's doing an island and they're going to have let's say a roof extension off the house, but the island is going to be on the back side of it. Well, if there's a wall, there may require an actual grill, an overhead fan for that barbecue grill to absorb some of that stuff so that you don't have an external grease fire. So there are some considerations that we have to talk about, with the client as far as that location and layout goes of where that grill is going to be, because that's going to be one of the most important things. That's where all your heat and your flame is coming off of.
For our listeners out there, we run into so many different scenarios as we talk with people across the country. It becomes, you really need to check your codes. Most people don't think, there's a code for where my barbecue grill can go.
There are so many, and to kind of give somebody a visual, what I'm talking about with like a fan above their grill is, we do a lot of stuff, up and through a lot of the states. But Florida is known for having these big enclosed spaces where they have in-ground pools, they have screens, and then they have these blank walls, and folks are putting barbecue grill islands inside of this space. So, and then there's a couple things there. Typically, it's going up against a back wall, usually some type of non-combustible concrete style wall. But then above that grill is an actual overhead fan. There again, think of a kitchen fan in a commercial restaurant. From an aesthetic standpoint, it's better looking for the units that we offer than a commercial version. But it's the same purpose. It's there to draw out any of those grease, that heat, and then it actually vents to the backside, like outside of that wall. That's a very important consideration from a design standpoint, from a cost standpoint. You've got some other contractors that are involved in doing the installation. So those are probably those are very, very important steps right there, that layout and the location.
Yeah. So once you know the appliances, okay, is there a stock solution for this, or does it need to go custom? And then layout, location. And when we say layout, it means, do you want the grill with a door drawer combo down below it and then an ice chest next to that? Do you want a trash drawer next to that? So you're literally taking just an open space and going, okay, how do I want this to function? I think of a regular kitchen. When we redid our kitchen, it was all about the triangle. You got to have the triangle, right? The triangle being the fridge to the stove to the sink. Those three have to be in close proximity because you want the trash to be accessible to wherever you might be prepping. So there's a lot of things to think about. Then once you know layout, you got to know location. Is this grill going to, and really when we say location, the major thing to consider is the heat sources. Are you going to have a grill? Are you going to have a grill and a side burner? Heat always causes issues. And that's because it's a fire. We want to make sure you're going to be safe.
It's going to be hot. It's a grill, and the thing is, it's a grill island, and whether it's a custom island that you're building or a stock turnkey style island, these are not portable. Meaning, it's not they're not on wheels. I mean, they're a fixed place. So the heat sources are important because not only that, but you have the foot traffic you want to consider, the safety part of that. Do we have little ones that are going to be running around? We may not want that grill island at the end where all the foot traffic's going to be. Might want that towards the inside, for example, if you're doing like a U-shape island where you're going to have a lot less of the little ones running into that area with the potential of getting hurt from a side burner, like you said, or the grill head itself. Where in proximity to the backyard is it? Where's the pool? Where's the kids' pool? Where's the kids' toys? There's all that safety foot traffic that needs to be considered as well.
There's so much that goes into it, and we're always available to talk to you. Somebody's on a line waiting they're just sitting there waiting to talk to you. So if you have questions, please give us a call. We'd love to walk through any of these projects with you and give you a hand. You know what, Randy? We've got 2 more steps here, and this one is a major consideration for folks that you have to know this: delivery and installation. How does this work?
Yeah, two very big points. No matter how you look at it, whether it's a custom island or a turnkey island, they are going to ship freight. It is going to be palletized. We will start with custom first. One of the other benefits of doing like a custom island from a logistics standpoint on the delivery end is, let's just say it's a 10-foot island. Depending on where your appliances are, we might be able to break that up into like 2 to 3, 4-foot sections that are manageable by a couple people to carry. That's the kind of thing that we do a lot for maybe like a rooftop bar, rooftop restaurant, where they can actually take these sections, put them in a freight elevator, and get them up to where they're going to go. Then they do their finished work on site. Much easier to manage from a weight standpoint, from a shipping standpoint, delivery standpoint, especially, if you're on the PCH in California, off of that PCH, and you've got to go to the backyard, which is 40 feet off the ground. Custom islands, easy to manage. Stock islands are a different pallet, a different weight. These are stock, meaning these are completely finished at the factory. So a simple, we'll say 5-foot barbecue grill island that has 12 by 12 granite tile tops and what they call like a dry stack stone that simulates a real stone on the side. That island itself could, weigh 1,500 pounds on a pallet. And it may not be able to be put on a liftgate service for a truck. In a scenario like that, then the homeowner needs some type of forklift. If you're working with your landscape contractor, a lot of times they will have like a bobcat they can use a long fork extension on. But you're going to need some type of pieces of equipment to get that off the truck to wherever you're going to be putting it at. So it's a different conversation. It's a different thought. Because I'm using a 5-foot, but some of those islands we have are almost 10 foot. This is a 10-foot one piece. So it is a different conversation to have with your landscaper and how you're going to plan to get this thing off, just to kind of put it out there. So in a lot of cases, when it comes to the stock islands shipping, I have a number of clients that have actually called and reached out to a professional moving company, where they have us ship that island to this professional moving company. They pay a fee to the moving company. It has no relationship to Woodland Direct whatsoever. They're doing the research, they're getting the referrals, they're finding the moving company and sourcing that, and then they make arrangements with that moving company for their team to bring it out, set it in place, get it off the pallet. That is a really good option for homeowners, because obviously, I don't know about you, Mike, I don't have a Bobcat or a high-low in my backyard at my disposal. I would have to rent it. And that's what the rental companies are for, but some folks may not be comfortable. But it is a very, very important step, Mike.
Yeah, we've had some folks, when they realized they needed to rent something to get this done, who asked, at least for me, Mike, do I sound like a person who should be driving one of those machines? And I'm like, no, you do not. You do not. And that didn't mean they have a weird voice or anything, but through all of our conversation, they just were not interested in being qualified to drive one of those machines. So it's something that we like to tell our customers, make sure they're aware of. The ability to use a liftgate service for those custom sections is super nice. For some of the stock, you can use the liftgate service as well, but you're gonna have to have some type of machinery. So for our pros out there who are listening, a consideration for you as well: if your client is looking at a stock solution, you're gonna need the ability to lift that thing off of there. I also, Randy, wanted to make sure that we touched on, for our pros out there, when they're considering, because a lot of them will just use block. I know here in Michigan, we have folks who look at us and go, nah, we don't want to use hardy board because of the snow, when the snow flies and things of that nature. They have some biases against that, and their experiences are greater than mine, so I lean to that. However, it is important during your layout phase. We have access to all of the dimensions for the appliances and things of that nature, so you can do the math on the openings, once you put your finished stone in place, how everything is going to fit we can help you with all of that as well. I just wanted to put that out there because I know a lot of our listeners are pros and they're building these things out of block. It is, again, consideration for all of our landscape pros out there who are listening. Make sure you know where that grill is going, because if you're building out a block, that's going to be tough to switch it to somewhere else. So consideration, you're going to get it off the truck, but now you're going to have to figure out how to get this thing lifted over whatever pipes you may have, gas lines you may have, electrical boxes, and set into place as well, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So the custom, we'll do the custom first. So the custom is nice because, as we mentioned, it's going to ship in sections. And those are much more manageable to lift, set in place, because let's just, even if it's a 4-foot section, that 4-foot section, and I don't know the exact number, but let's just say that we'll go on the heavy, let's just say that it weighs 200 pounds. So something that's 200 pounds is a lot more manageable, even if you had 4 guys lifting it up and setting it over top of your plumbing, your electrical. And then once your sections are in place, they're just going to bolt those together before your countertop guy comes in, before the guy that's going to do the folks that are going to do the sides. So it's a lot easier to put those pieces in when it is a custom, ready to finish material, meaning metal stud and hardy board if it's something that we're building for you. Now, stock island, yes, exactly. I mean, to the point, Mike, you're talking about, like, we'll use the 5-foot, 1,500 pound analogy. Let's just say that gas is only stubbed up 5 inches. You've got to be able to lift that up 5 inches up off the ground. So that piece of equipment is going to come into play, or you're going to need a lot of guys. I've done that, a lot of guy thing, for a couple of my coworkers when they've ordered stock grill islands, and a lot of guys lifting 5-6 inches still is quite the task. You have obviously the safety concern, someone possibly getting hurt. It's important to have the right equipment to do this. Now, I talked about moving companies and things like that, and I don't want that to scare off anybody, because I have a lot of commercial contractors that I work with that they may still have the equipment, but they will still ship to a moving and storage company. It's kind of going back to hiring the right people for the right job. That is what they do every day. I wanted to put that out there, that the moving and storage thing is very, very common for big items like these, to not scare folks away from it.
That's a great point, Randy, right? It's like being a general contractor at that point. I don't want to lift this up. I don't want to do it. I want to leave it to the people who can do it. So that's a great pro tip out there for our listeners as well. Something that you can give to someone else to do. Of course, there's a fee to it. There's always a price to it. But then they're insuring it. They're making sure if anything happens, they're going to take care of it. And you can kind of GC the whole thing from there. That's a solid point.
Exactly. And we've been doing barbecue grill islands custom in stock for over a decade now. So it's not something that is new. We're happy to make recommendations if people forget about it, things like that. We just want folks to be very aware of these types of things for this, delivery and installation part of it.
All right, Randy. So we are on to our last point here, and I know we always laugh because you and I can talk about this stuff for hours. I think we sat around the fire once until about 4 a.m. talking about this stuff.
Yeah.
Safety and care. Last thing on the list here. We've gone through custom versus stock, appliances, layout, location, delivery and installation. Now, safety and care. What do we need to consider?
So safety kind of runs into some of the stuff that we talked about when we're talking about the islands themselves, location and layout. Safety is going to be just, do we have trees? Do we have awnings? What is overhead? Are we away from the house? A house may have vinyl siding on it. So we want to consider those. From a construction standpoint, it is how the islands are built. We build our islands metal stud, hardy board, backer board that's impervious to weather, heat, things of that nature. But maybe somebody is calling because they need the appliances and somebody built something on site for them. So the safety part of it is, what is it built out of? I unfortunately have seen islands that are built out of 2x4s and, just plywood. There's some safety concerns there from heat. Now, barbecue grill manufacturers, some of them may have what's called an insulated barbecue grill jacket that is required for certain materials. So that's a very important safety, because not every grill is going to have that option. And then The care part of it is going to be your stainless steel. I mean, I wipe down my appliances after I use them. Follow all of your manufacturer's instructions to take care of those appliances. Because remember, these are outside. Whether it's a refrigerator, a side burner, you have outdoor elements. You have bugs that could get into the valve of your side burner, into the valve of your grill. These things are all laid out for the maintenance and the care of each product. And it may vary on how you're going to get and clean these things per each manufacturer. Yeah, I mean, those are really some of the important parts of it. The construction of your islands, the safety part of it, where the heat's going. What the islands, you've talked about islands being made of, CMU block, cinder block, those are all non-combustible materials. But what is that thing built out of? What is it? What is the elements of the house that are going to be near the island, the clearances for your product? So those all fall into the safety part of it. But always lean on the manufacturer for your products, because based on your grill size, your side burner size, the things that are putting off all that high heat, those clearances may vary a little bit based on those manufacturers. So we always want to lean on the manufacturer's maintenance, safety tips, and clearance to combustibles, because they're all going to be different per manufacturer, per size of the unit that you have.
This is the spot when you get to safety where design and function collide. And it's a collision. It truly is, because when you talk to someone who has a vision, who's designing the area, whether it is a designer and that's their world, or whether it's a homeowner and they're looking at it going, this is going to be amazing. When you're the one that brings function to them to say, listen, your house is made of vinyl siding. We cannot put a grill right there. It'll melt it. There can be tension. And that's we want to make sure our listeners know we're not into crushing people's dreams, but we are into keeping you safe. we have to. We don't want to see bad things happen. So there are limitations to everything inside of a design, especially. But that's what we do. We try to go through all of the products that we offer and make sure that we at least do our best and do the most research that we can to try and make that design and dream come true. And if not, offer solutions for how you can still functionally have everything you want, but in a safe environment that's going to be protected. So it's safety first. You guys know we always talk about safety because we are going to do our best to make sure that our clients are all safe. And then we feel it's our responsibility for our pros who are calling and looking for us to advise them in a direction to make sure that they're keeping their clients safe. That is the expectation that's given to us, and we take it seriously. So, Randy, we've been talking a while, brother, and we could...
Yeah, I know. I figured I better shut up.
It's another great episode, man. And honestly, folks, if you have questions or if anything came up while you were listening to this, please don't hesitate to reach out. We'd love to talk more about this stuff. Matter of fact, we're even considering taking this show on the road. We're not sure if we're going to be able to do it yet, but going to the IBS in 2023 out in Las Vegas, considering ways for us to be able to meet some people and sit down and just talk.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be just awesome. Absolutely.
All right, brother, as always, I really appreciate you. Thank you for all you do, Randy, and thanks for being here for me and for all of our listeners, brother.
Thanks, Mike. Absolutely. Everyone have a great day.
And we're out. Join us next time for Can I Hang a TV Over My Fireplace? We'll see you then.